Hi everyone! In this tutorial, I will show you how you can create and set up a schedule in Revit. Let's get started. In the project browser, you need to go to Schedules, Quantities, right-click and here select New View List. We will take a look at View List as a type of schedule. Revit opens a dialog box where you can add fields or parameters to the schedule. To add a field, you need to select it and click Add Parameter. You can also select several parameters at once and add them together. If needed, you can even create a new parameter. For example, I could create a parameter and call it Pipex. Or another nice feature is a calculated value. So it is also a new parameter that will use a formula for calculation. However, for a view list, calculated value is usually not very useful because calculated values make the most sense when working with numerical parameters. And we don't have them, or at least not so many of them in the view list. So another option is to add parameter from service. In this case, we are talking about parameters provided through Autodesk Cloud Services. And last but not least, you can combine parameters. Let me show you what it is. Here, Revit gives us the possibility to combine several parameters into one field. So what I can do, I select the parameters I want and click Add Parameter. You can name your combined parameter above. Let's say we'll call it Sheet Name and Number. And click OK. If you forget to give your combined parameter a name at this step, don't worry, it will also be possible later. So once again, on the left side, you can see all parameters or fields available for selection. And on the right, you can see the parameters that will be included in the schedule. You can easily change their order by moving them up or down using the blue arrows right here. All right. You can also delete or edit parameters that you created yourself. However, as expected, it is not possible to edit or delete parameters standard built-in parameters of Revit. Okay, that's it for the field tab. Now we'll continue with the filtering options. In the filter tab, Revit allows you to filter the view list by the parameters you created in the previous step. As filtering criteria, you can use conditions such as equal, does not equal, begins with, and so on. Any of these conditions. For example, here we could say that for family and type, we want Revit to show all views that do not equal to a 3D view. So all views that are not a 3D view, we want to appear in the schedule. If you want to filter views based on whether they are placed on sheets, you can use the checkbox in the lower left corner of the dialog box. Over here, I won't do it in this example. And we'll continue with the sorting options. Sorting grouping, it is called here. So first, let me explain the difference between filtering and sorting. Filtering controls which views appear in the view list or in your schedule. Sorting controls how the views that are already included in the view list are organized and displayed. Similar to fields, you can sort by the parameters that you added in the previous step. Then you can choose whether the values should be shown in ascending or descending order. You also have the option to add a header or footer. or both. For footers, you can decide what information should be shown, such as count, totals, and so on. If you want a header or footer to appear as a blank row, then you need to check the blank line box. Revit also allows you to add grand totals at the end of the schedule. You can do it by checking the grand totals box. And last but not least, the last sorting option you can see is Itemize every instance. What is that? The Itemize every instance option controls whether every view is shown as a separate row. So if this box is unchecked, Revit groups views with the same sorting values into one single row. And if this box is checked, each view appears individually. So here it, as always, depends on what you want to see in your schedule. And now we will continue with the formatting options. So on the left side of the dialog box, you can select a schedule field that you want to format. And on the right side, you can see different formatting options such as heading text, heading orientation, and text alignment for field values. If you need to highlight specific values in your schedule, you can use conditional formatting. It works similarly to conditional formatting in Excel. If you work with Excel, you likely know it. But in Revit, it works in a simplified way. Let me show you an example. We will add a condition for the field view name. And as a test, we will use the condition not equal to. And for value, I will type in something, just some random value. I don't know, maybe pipex org. That's what I'll type in. And we'll say that for all cells that don't contain the value pipex org, we want the background color to be green. I'll click OK, and we'll see later if it works. Another interesting feature in the Formatting tab is the hidden field, this box over here. By checking the hidden field box, you can hide a column from the schedule. This is quite useful when you want to use a parameter for filtering or sorting, but don't want Revit to display it in the final schedule, in the final view list. I won't hide any columns in this example. And the last formatting feature is the option to work with multiple values. Revit provides a link to Autodesk help page where you can read more about this feature. And we'll continue with the last tab, Appearance. In this section, you can control the graphical representation of your schedule. The Appearance tab has two main parts, graphics and text. Let me start with graphics. Here you can customize grid lines, outline, or stripe rows. For grid lines, you can change the line style. And for strip rows, you can change the color. In the text section, you can choose whether to show or hide the schedule title, headers, and below that you can adjust the text font for the schedule title, column headers, and body text. Once you're done setting up the schedule, click OK. So here's the view list we've just created. As you can see, this is how the conditional formatting works in schedules. So we added a condition for this field here, view template, and it works pretty well, but you need to keep in mind that you can only add one condition per column. If you decide to make changes later, you can always go to Properties. Under Other, you will find the same setting options such as Fields, Filter, Sorting, Grouping, Formatting, and Appearance. And this is how you can create and set up a view list in Revit. I hope this tutorial was useful. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.